In this video, we're going to start looking at the chain rule, which is a really powerful technique in calculus that helps us differentiate composite functions, that is functions of functions. I'm going to split this up into a number of different scenarios. In this video, we're focusing on functions in the form f of x to the power of n. Let's have a look. All right, so in this version of the chain rule, we're focusing on differentiating functions like this, f of x to the power of n. I will show you later on in the course a sort of general term of what the chain rule is, but it's really helpful to just break it up into the most common cases. So how do we differentiate something like this? Well, let's start with an example and then just generalize from there. Let's say I had a function like this, y equals 2x plus 1 squared. Okay, so it's a function 2x plus 1 to the power of n where n equals 2. And I want to differentiate it. Well, if I differentiate this, well, from what we know so far, we would need to expand this. If I expand this, I get 4x squared plus 4x plus 1, and now I can differentiate it. And what we have is 8x plus 4. If we fully factorize this, I get 4 times 2x plus 1. So could we have got straight from here to here in one go? Well, notice that the sort of function in the middle survived the journey. The 2x plus 1 survived the differentiation. But what happened? Well, the power did drop by 1. It dropped from 2 to 1. But it seems like I didn't simply multiply that 2 to the front. I did, but then I also multiplied by another 2. So where did that 2 come from? Well, you might guess it's come from the 2 in here. See if you can make a prediction about what you think the rule is. All right, before I show you the rule, let's look at another case. Suppose that I had a function which was y equals x squared plus 2 all squared. Okay, so what happens when we differentiate this? Well, using what we know so far, I could expand this and get x to the 4 plus 4x squared plus 4. And now if I differentiate, what do I get? Well, I get 4x cubed plus 8x, and that's it. If I factorize out a 4x here, I'm left with x squared plus 2. So once again, the function in the bracket has survived the journey. I've still got x squared plus 2 here. The power dropped by 1, and yes, it multiplied to the front, but it multiplied to the front along with another 2x. It was 2 times 2x here. Where did that 2x come from? Well, it's in fact the derivative of what's going on in the bracket. So here is the way that we differentiate. If we have y equals f of x to the power of n, so here's how we differentiate this. dy by dx is found by treating this as if it were just x to the n. So the power comes down and drops by 1. So that's n times f of x to the n minus 1, but then multiply by the derivative of what was going on inside the bracket, f dashed of x. Let's just check that working here. The power comes down and drops by 1. So that's 2 times 2x plus 1 to the 1, and then multiply by the derivative of what's happening inside the bracket, which is 2. And that does indeed give us 4 times 2x plus 1. In this case here, the power comes down and drops by 1, and then multiply by the derivative of what was happening inside the bracket, which is 2x. And yes, indeed, that is 4x times x squared plus 2. So this rule is going to help us in general with any function raised to the power of n. Let's have a look at a bunch of examples. So differentiate the following functions. So let's just remind ourselves what the rule is. The rule is that dy by dx is n times f of x to the power of n minus 1 multiplied by the derivative of the stuff in the bracket. So power comes down to the front and drops by 1. Then multiply by the derivative of what's in the bracket. The derivative of 3 plus x squared is just 2x. Neatened up, I've got 6 times 2x is 12x, and that's multiplied by 3 plus x squared, and that's all to the power of 5. Okay, but the stuff inside the bracket doesn't just need to be polynomial. It could be trigonometric or exponential like this. So how do we find dy by dx? Power comes down to the front. Leave the stuff alone inside the bracket. Power drops by 1. Now multiply by the derivative of the stuff in the bracket. Well, the derivative of sine x plus e to the x is cos x, that's the derivative of sine, plus e to the x is the derivative of e to the x. Neaten it up if you like. I'm going to go with 3. Well, I think we don't need to change the order really. 3 sine x plus e to the x squared cos x plus e to the x. There's our answer. What about something like this? Well, this looks like it's not quite in the right form until you realise that that's the same as 3 times ln x minus x cubed to the power of minus 1. So it is a function to the power of n. So we can apply our chain rule. Power comes down to the front, so minus 3. Then ln x minus x cubed to the minus 2. Then multiply by the derivative of what's going on in the bracket, which is 1 over x minus 3x squared. And we're now basically there. We just need to neaten this up a little bit. So how could we neaten this up? Well, we've got a range of options, but since we've got this bracket to the power of minus 2, we'll remember that that means we are dividing by that bracket squared. So I've got that stuff squared, and that leaves minus 3 times this stuff. Minus 3 times 1 over x minus 3x squared. We could even neaten it up further by multiplying the numerator and the denominator by x, because that sorts out the fraction here. If I multiply through by x, I've got, well, just 1 here, then minus 3x cubed here, and on my denominator, it's x times ln x minus x cubed all squared. So it's looking quite fancy already. Okay, oh, just so you know, it is perfectly acceptable to stop at this point. Like, that's not necessary to get here. It's just kind of fun to neaten it up. Okay, let's have a look at how we use this. So find the stationary points of the following function. Well, stationary points is just when the derivative is equal to 0. So I apply my chain rule. Power comes down to the front. Then the power drops by 1, and then multiply by the derivative of what's going on in the bracket. The derivative of that is 2x minus 4. And I want to set this equal to 0. Well, this is nicely factorised for me, so it's kind of easy to solve. This is equal to 0 either when x squared minus 4x plus 3 equals 0, or when 2x minus 4 equals 0. If either that bracket's 0 or that bracket's 0, the whole thing equals 0. Well, here's a quadratic for us, and this factorises x minus 1, x minus 3. Of course, you could just use the calculator to solve that. So we get stationary point when x equals 1, or when x equals 3, and of course this 2x equals 4, so that's when x equals 2. So stationary points at 1, 2, and 3. Easy as 1, 2, 3. Sorry, bad joke. Okay, have a look at this one. Find the equation of the tangent to the following curve when x equals 1. So for the tangent of the curve, I need a point, like the coordinates of a point and the gradient. So let's get the coordinates first. So when x equals 1, y is 2 over 1 minus 1 squared. Well, that's 2 minus 1 is 1. Square that and it's 1. Okay, so the coordinates of my point is just 1, 1. What about the gradient? Well, I find dy by dx. Power comes down, so that's 2 over x minus x to the power of 1, and then multiply by the derivative of this bracket. The derivative of this bracket, well, let's just figure that out. that bracket is 2x to the minus 1 minus x. So the derivative of that is minus 2x to the minus 2 minus 1. So here is our full derivative. I don't need to bother neatening it up. I've just got to sub x equals 1 into it. So that's 2 times 2 over 1, which is 2, minus 1, multiplied by minus 2 times 1 to the minus 2 is just minus 2, minus 1. In total, that's just 2 times 1 times minus 3. So that's a gradient of minus 6. So here's my point, here's my gradient. Y minus the y-coordinate equals the gradient times x minus the x-coordinate. Y minus 1 equals minus 6x plus 6, and that means that y equals minus 6x plus 7. And there it is, there's the equation to our tangent. Stick around for the next video where I'm going to be looking at using the chain rule when we've got trigonometric functions. See you there.